You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
It's Later with Mo Kelly, live everywhere on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and the iHeartRadio app. And I have to say, the box office had been going on a pretty good run for a while, where you had movies overperforming expectations. You had movies showing legs, lasting performance in the box office, in movie theaters, adding theaters. And then we had this past weekend, which was pretty much underwhelming, did not meet most expectations. You had the Fantastic Four, First Steps. I loved the movie. Tawala loved the movie. Mark loved the movie. But it had a 67% drop in its second week. It still came in at number one, but when I say it only, with that caveat, it only grossed $38.6 million this week. That was more than enough to be number one, but the 67% drop off was concerning. It did not add any theaters. It stayed at 4,125. I mention that because when movies have a great deal of momentum, they usually pick up theaters from week to week. They didn't gain any theaters, which means that movie theaters are not as high on the movie as maybe I was or someone else. The Bad Guys 2, its first week, brought in $22 million. The Naked Gun, Waller refuses to see it. I don't care to see it. It brought in $16.8 million. It only had 3,300 theaters, so that's not really an expectation of it being a hit. I don't know what the budget was, but $16.8 million, I guess, isn't bad. Probably weren't high expectations for the movie.
The budget was $42 million.
Okay, then it probably needed to do better than $16 million its first week.
It's going to flop, and it deserves to. I wasn't exaggerating when I said last week I didn't laugh once during the entire movie.
Not once.
Not once.
Wow. Yeah, and it's going to be a sliding scale for it. If it brought in $16.8 million its first week, its best week for any film, it may bring in $7 or $8 million the next week. Then yeah, it's all downhill from that.
Yeah, but look on the bright side of this. This means we probably won't get any more of them.
Don't be so fast.
Not so fast. Word of mouth is really bad. So getting even $6 million next week is good. It's tough.
Look, from your lips to God's ears, I'm just saying they didn't need to make this movie in the first place. There was no financial reason or belief to think that this movie was going to do well.
Yeah.
And they still made it. So that doesn't mean that a sequel is out of the question. Superman in its fourth week is hanging around, but still below its predecessor. I would say its predecessor was Man of Steel, the last time that Warner Brothers had tried to do Superman. And that movie brought in almost $700 million. This iteration of Superman in its fourth week has only brought in $551 million. It's questionable.
I don't know. And I think that's one of the biggest arguments out there right now is one that Superman, to everyone's surprise, everyone thought Superman, Fantastic Four. Superman is outperforming Fantastic Four, and the expectations going into Superman, they did not put as much on it because of all of the Snyder Bros and this massive campaign, this massive social media campaign to salt Superman. There was a massive campaign you got to think of, if you have 100 Superman fans, half of them are Snyder folks who are like, we refuse. We're going to do everything we can to make this film flop. Warner Brothers said, look, dude, this is the umpteenth edition of Superman. This is not a new story, a new film. It's just James Gunn doing his thing. And there's mild interest in James Gunn doing it. No one is looking at James Gunn as arguably being able to do it. They say, your success is in Marvel. Can you do it at DC? Right now, the DC heads, not James Gunn and Zaslav, or who are running DC Studios, the Warner Brothers heads are like, damn, dude, we didn't think another crack at Superman would cross $500 million. We had no idea. We tried to say, like, look, man, maybe it will, maybe it won't. But this is a success for them. And for them, they're kind of low key popping bottles because, like, man, we kind of kicked Fantastic Four's ass and no one thought we would.
My response to that is dollars are dollars, and dollars 551 million in 2024 is not the same as when did Man of Steel come out? 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Let's say 2014, and it's 600 plus million. So it's still a business built on dollars and cents.
Yeah.
Yes, they can say, hey, we're beating the movie that people didn't expect us to beat in Fantastic Four, but that's more like a problem for Marvel more than anything than it is about the success of Superman. And there's one other thing. You know, when you have Superman as a tent pole for your company and you're getting beaten by Jurassic World Rebirth, and at this point, you know, F1 the movie,
which is right now for this summer, that's everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's like anything that we would have thought would have been that big theater film. And I'm talking even the theaters who thought like, nah, the superhero films, they're going to do it. They're like, damn, man, literally the 11th dinosaur film and the race car film are the ones that are doing it for us. That's crazy.
And just back to Naked Gun, to Mark's chagrin, I was like, well, I see the reviews. It's got a 90% from the critics.
Yeah, I meant to point that
and
out. It's insane.
6 from the audience.
And are you saying they bought the critics?
No, I'm saying critics are out of touch. And I was one of my close friends is an editor at Variety, and I was razzing her over the weekend about what does your hack critic have to say about this movie? And she's like, well, I didn't read it. That's what she sounds like, by the way. I didn't read it. I'm like, well, I did. You might want to have a talk about like his work with him. Like, you get to the point where two people can watch the same thing, and if they disagree, one of them is insane. I don't understand how these people could watch this and it has a 90% positive on Rotten Tomatoes. That's just nuts. It's legitimately one of the worst of the year. It's where I said Friday, we're in Golden Raspberries territory with this one.
No, you actually said it was rated poo.
Yeah, it's a code brown.
Oh, that's right.
Lilo and Stitch is number 12 this week, but just want to reiterate, it's $1.02 billion.
Yeah. Still for this summer, as a company, Disney is winning with Marvel, with
as a company,
Pixar, and with their 21st Century Fox products. They're like, we're good. We've actually made our budget for the year. We're straight.
Overall, it's a better year for the movie industry at this point this year than last year. I don't know if there are any real big movies between now and the end of the year, which could be real breakout hits. When is Avatar coming out? Is that December?
No, yeah, that's this year.
December? Okay.
Yeah, December.
That's the last one then. Yeah.
There's one more quote unquote.
When is Tron coming out?
That's this year too. That's November. That's closer. That's in between our birthdays.
And both of those are quote unquote Disney
They're both,
properties.
Yeah,
so,
Disney,
you know, Disney's licking their chops at this point because they could not have been expecting Lilo and Stitch to bring in $1 billion.
There's no way.
No way.
There's no way. But the international audience for Lilo and Stitch, which is why they're like, you know what? You all can hate this film all you want. We did make this film for the U.S. There is a Polynesian, Eastern Island Pacific audience around the world that is going to eat this film up.
See, that's a great point. We talk about it, but that kind of embodies the point that Disney is making properties for the world, not to please just fly over America, not to please a political persuasion here in just the United States. They're talking about some 60 countries. You look at the Disney Plus subscriptions, there are more subscribers outside the U.S. than there are inside the U.S. And so when they're making their considerations about what is going to be a hit and where it's going to be a hit, it's not just red or blue in America. That is one consideration, but it's definitely not the biggest consideration.
Now, I think that had something to do with why Fantastic Four and Superman aren't faring as well internationally,
yep.
Because both of those films are very isolated in the stories that they're telling. They're not reaching out to the world. They're telling stories about protecting their own little turf. And that was kind of like, it may not have hit this, like, you know, if you're Superman, it's like, great, he's protecting Metropolis. What's that got to do with me?
Which is proxy for New York and Fantastic Four. They're protecting, quote unquote, the world, but they're based in New York.
They're based in New York. Yeah. Protecting the world through New York.
Yeah.
You know, so,
And let's be honest, it showed a New York of the 1960s, not a New York of the 2020s.
Yeah, no, there was not a lot of diversity. You saw some sprinkles of color, but there was not diversity throughout the film as far as involvement where someone could say, oh, yeah, this film is for me too. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't.
It's later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640 live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. When we come back, we have to talk about how robotics, robot trucks and delivery bots are taking over. And Mark is so happy about all this.
Maybe I could get a job with him.
Maybe. KFI AM 640 is later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and the iHeartRadio app. And I've been long of the opinion that some things are inevitable. Now, they may not be palatable. They may not be desirable, but they are inevitable. Self-driving, automated cars and trucks are here. And I'm not even a fan of self-driving taxis, but they are here. And I've also said that they're going to eradicate a lot of jobs, even though we may not want them to. There are robo-trucks which are hauling cargo right now along Texas highways. Self-driving tractor trailers are rumbling down Texas highways to haul cargo at night. The autonomous 18-wheelers, and they may still have a driver just as a backup, but they are making these 4 trips between Dallas and Houston to transport food and dairy products daily. And this is according to the Wall Street Journal. Aurora Innovation. This startup said it is able to achieve driverless trucking after dark because of its LiDAR system, which casts laser beams to see items in 3D and measure the distance to those objects. This is the future. The future is now. And you think about truckers have to drive days at a time sometimes without sleep. They're going to be obsolete in the next 5 years.
The passengers in these vehicles right now are just for quality control and to take data and notes and report back anything that they see as someone who is from the company. These aren't drivers who are just, taking a ride, and I would be, no. These are people from the companies who are like, go out there, quality control. You're going at night. You're going in conditions that normal truckers would have to pull over for, stuff like that. I know a guy who has a rig in Atlanta. They fear these things like the plague.
If you know a truck driver, you know that you can make some real good money as a truck driver. Make some real good money, upwards of $200,000, depending on what you do, where you go, how often you drive.
Yep. Think
about that in terms of who would be paying the truck drivers. And you say, hey, for $200,000, we could implement this system on all your trucks, and you would not have to pay any driver ever again, anything. And possibly greater reliability, quicker transit time, because it can drive under more difficult conditions, and it can drive for longer times, not needing rest. All it needs to be is refueled. That's it.
These things go 24 hours a day. Look, I love my truckers. This is not trying to tear my truckers down. All the truckers listening to this show right now.
Right now on the road.
We love you. We are just aware of what's coming your way. And it's not good.
Speaking of something else coming our way, which is already here, Coco Robotics. This is a California-based startup. And they've gone into Chicago with a fleet of autonomous personal delivery carts, and has also gotten one of their first major customers in White Castle for their pilot program using its mobile robots to make deliveries. Last week, White Castle on Chicago's Near West Side became the chain's first to offer robotic delivery through the Uber Eats app. That's another set of jobs gone.
One of the things that White Castle and customers have cited as one of the things they love about these Coco bots, quote, another bonus for choosing Coco over human delivery drivers, there's no tipping a robot. That is literally, quote, that is literally what they say is one of the issues that they have with having people versus robots. No tipping.
said it's a California company, but it's a Southern California tie-in. It was launched in 2020. Coco's, hey, Mark, AI-driven delivery robot was developed by two former UCLA students, Zach Rash and Brad Squissis. I can't pronounce that.
Rescind their degrees. Take the degrees away.
But the home market they started was here in LA, but they've added service in Miami, Helsinki, Finland, and Chicago. Why Helsinki, Finland? It's odd as an outlier, but still, it's another city. There are about 1,000 Coco units on the road worldwide. And just know each unit probably means one less job.
I cannot wait till they launch these things in LA, because next time we want to order something, I'm not going to have to go downstairs and deal with coyotes. It will be right at the door. Not going to look around for the damn delivery driver. So it'll be like, hey, the Coco robot's downstairs.
I wonder how, knowing the topography of our campus here, how close it could get.
Easily, because the front is open. It can access the wheelchair ramp, and it can come up and just come all the way around. These things are guided by AI, Google mapping, and all that kind of stuff.
AI, Mark.
Right downstairs.
AI.
I don't know why you think you're going to make out any better with this stuff than anybody else is. This is a pox on humanity.
Mark.
It is a literal, a literal cancer.
What, Mark, right now, what this is a warning to everyone to start looking into the buying Coco stock.
You can't.
Literally. Trust, once they're on the market, I'm getting into Coco.
Okay.
And very quickly, Chinese shoppers in China, it's not here yet, but they can rent a customized robot alongside their groceries. And think of it this way. If it's there, it will be here soon enough.
Wait, what kind of robot?
China's robotics industry has expanded rapidly in recent years, and now they have these robots which are specifically for consumer and service markets. This Future Era store offers leasing and customization services in addition to the traditional retail staples of a showroom: sales, spare parts, and customer service. Customers can browse the many models, robots on display, and then choose to buy, rent, or even build their own by selecting components.
Their own droid, and have it come and help you.
You can have it inside of 10 days.
They're okay for movies, but have you noticed in the movies, they never work out?
That's not true.
C-3PO is great. So
Not
is
true.
R2 literally saved the galaxy.
Yeah.
They're the Bert and Ernie of Star Wars.
Okay,
Good luck to them.
You know that's fiction, right?
Is it?
Yeah, HAL 9000 doesn't exist.
Yeah, but HAL 9000 is the way most of these are going to go. By the way, I should point out to you that there's no concept of enough with the people foisting this stuff on us. They'll put as many people out of work as they can.
That's correct.
If it'll put one more dime into their pockets.
True. You are correct.
I have just described cancer to you. There's no enough. There's no end point.
That's true.
Constant growth until it destroys the whole deal.
You're making the moral argument. I'm just giving you the facts.
You can't isolate the moral argument from the whole situation.
Yes, you can.
I don't think so.
Yes, you can. No. The fact is, we live in a capitalistic society. That's just a fact. I'm not making a value judgment. That's something completely different.
I am.
Yeah, I mean, we're literally talking about apples and oranges.
Right.
We're talking about what's happening. You're talking about how you feel about it. We're giving you the facts, and you're like, I don't like how that sounds.
It's unfair.
My feelings,
It's selfish.
My feelings about it are based on observation and critical thinking, and it sucks.
No,
Okay, it may suck.
it might.
Yeah,
No
it
one is
might.
saying you're wrong. What we're saying is the robot's here to come up and clean up everything that
That's
sucks
right.
for you.
That's right.
People can resist this. I mean, I don't tell anybody else what to buy or watch or do, but I boycott that stuff. I don't
can't-
want to take
That's not
part in that.
exactly true. You told a whole lot of people not to watch The Naked Gun.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of a whole different ball of wax. A movie critic's job is kind of a consumer.
Now you want to move the goalposts.
What, you think you just like scored some big
I
point
did.
on me or
Yes,
something?
I did.
No.
You're telling people how to spend their money.
I'm telling you that
I
here's
love
the
when he's
deal,
frustrated.
and it's your choice if you decide to spend money on this code brown or not. That's up to you, but you need to know what you're getting going in. It's a consumer watchdog thing.
I hope you feel the same when the robot comes and opens the door to vacuum while you're in there.
I'll kick a robot right over on its metal ass.
So violent. When we come back, we'll remember Loni Anderson, who passed away just days ago at the age of 79. And tomorrow would have been her 80th birthday.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
I'm at WKRP in Cincinnati.
KFI AM 640. It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and the iHeartRadio app. And Loni Anderson, as we all know at this point, passed away at the age of 79. Her 80th birthday is tomorrow. And what I remember most about Loni Anderson, yes, she was, quote unquote, the blonde bombshell on WKRP in Cincinnati. But if you do a little bit more investigation into her life and career, she always stood on business. She held out during one of the seasons of WKRP in Cincinnati because she thought that she deserved more pay. And if you know anything about the show, she was one of the central attractions. And I don't mean that in a physical sense. I'm saying her character was integral to everything which happened on the show. And if you followed her career later on, there was this show in the early 90s called Designing Women, very popular. And it starred Delta Burke, left, and I think was actually fired. But then Loni Anderson was thought to replace her. And Loni Anderson said no, because they were not willing to pay Loni Anderson her worth at the time, given that she was already a star and was going to be bailing out the show by taking over for Delta Burke. And if you ever watched WKRP in Cincinnati during the time of its show, it was always easier, if you want to compare it to a show like Three's Company, to have the ditzy blonde, the character who didn't really have any command or didn't have any quote unquote value other than her physicality and sexuality. But Loni Anderson not only put into her character a level of smartness and intelligence, which was unusual for the time, but she also used it against the men in her portrayal of her character. For example, if you ever watched WKRP in Cincinnati, it was very politically incorrect by today's standards. And just about all the men on the show were hitting on her, but she was smarter than all the men. And she knew how to outwit the characters in all the ways that she just demonstrated she was always smarter than them. Here's an example of one of these interactions with both Herb and also Les.
Have you seen The Cat from Outer Space yet?
No, Herb, I haven't.
Well, Les saw it, and he said it was real good, and I thought maybe you and I could,
Herb, I'm not going to the movies with you.
Come on. It'll be just us and a bunch of kids. What? Get it? We won't see anybody we know.
No.
So, how's it going?
Oh, same old thing, answering the phone and fighting off Herb.
Herb ought to be ashamed of himself.
You know, I'm really getting tired of it. He wants to take me to lunch. He wants to take me to dinner. He wants to take me dancing. And every time I say no, he says, there's yes in my eyes. Do you see yes in there anywhere?
No. Jennifer, I think you can help us out.
What is it?
Would you let Les practice on you for a minute?
Practice what?
Well, he needs to get a date for the banquet tomorrow night, and he just needs a few pointers, that's all.
What kind?
I'm not sure about this, Herb. You sure it's all right, Jennifer?
Anything to help.
Well, you see, there's this banquet tomorrow night, and, this event is very special to me. And I was wondering if you don't have anything else to do, maybe, you and I, maybe we could go together.
I'd love to, Les.
Look, guy needs practice now. Come on, make it tough. Make it real.
She said yes, Herb.
And when they say yes, they always mean no. It works both ways, right, Jennifer?
No.
Oh, good God.
Loni Anderson's gone at the age of 79, but most people do not know that she was nominated for 3 Golden Globes and 2 Emmy Awards. She will be missed. It's Later with Mo Kelly. When we come back, we'll check in with George Norrie, and I'll have my final thought.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube right now. And since I mentioned that, make sure you like and subscribe. Subscribe so everyone knows that we're gaining in numbers, and like it and share it for other people to learn about it. Because when you subscribe, it makes it easier to come back and find it the next day. And if you go to the YouTube video simulcast, you'll see that we have a large community of people who are enjoying the show, interacting with me, and you want to be a part of it every day. We have our regular viewers and regular listeners, and we would love you to join that community. So it's at Mr. Mo Kelly on YouTube. Coming up in just a few moments, we'll be Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. How was your weekend, sir?
Great, my friend. I worked Sunday, but I loved the show, and we've got a great one tonight. We're going to talk about human potential, and then later on a little bit about magic on Coast to Coast.
Oh, a little smorgasbord, I see.
You got it.
All right, I'll be listening.
See you soon.
And before we get out of here, it was a very strange weekend for me, because every once in a while I was checking in on what people were talking about. And I kept hearing about Charlemagne the God and Laura Trump and what came out of that interview on Friday. And I said, okay, I've had enough. I got to weigh in. Radio host Charlemagne the God of New York's The Breakfast Club radio show. He was recently on Fox News's My View, which is hosted by Laura Trump, of course, daughter-in-law of the president. On that show, Charlemagne suggested that he would be interested in a Jon Stewart presidential candidacy in 2028, as in Jon Stewart of Comedy Central's The Daily Show. No, you didn't get that. Let me say it one more time, but slower for dramatic effect. Charlemagne suggested that he would be interested in a presidential candidacy of Jon Stewart, a nighttime talk show host on Comedy Central, because that's where we are in this unserious America. Presently, just in case you didn't know, we have a former game show / reality TV host in his second term as president. Also presently, there are 23 one-time Fox News Channel employees, hosts, or contributors in the Trump administration. 23 in the administration. Right now, ESPN television personality Stephen A. Smith has publicly mused about running for president in 2028. We've discussed him here. Tucker Carlson, former Fox News personality in his own right, has mused about running for president in 2028. And now this. To be fair, Stewart himself has said nothing to indicate he would be interested in either the job or entering the race. So this has less to do with Stewart and more to do with us as a nation. There's no denying that there is a visual element to the American presidency in the 21st century. You have to be an effective communicator, and you have to be that effective communicator in a televised medium, social media savvy, and be able to speak in terse sound bites. But none of that speaks to what is necessary to do the actual job. I'm talking about domestic policy, foreign policy, military strategy / commander-in-chief, molder of consensus on Capitol Hill with Congress, setting economic policy and managing our national security, CEO of the federal government, and oversee all of its agencies and 2 million full-time federal employees. It's actually a job that is too big for just one person. But we're in America so damn lazy and, dare I say, stupid. Yes, I said lazy and stupid. We're not looking for competence first and foremost. We're looking for someone who can handle TV and TV interviews. We want someone who can own the libs. We want someone who is funny, or at least we find funny on social media. You know, nice clapback game. We've devalued the actual importance of the presidency and the responsibilities the job holds. We think that anyone, and this is not even being political, I'm just saying, you have someone, they throw out all sorts of weird-ass people who should be president. We think that anyone can be president, provided he, and I do mean he, because America is not remotely interested in a she. Let's be honest. Can I tell the truth here? Provided he says some stuff we like and can effectively communicate it in the televised medium. It doesn't even have to make sense. We just have to like what he says, which is really odd when you consider that presidents and presidential candidates don't write any of their speeches. We're one step removed from America's Top Model, the Presidential Search Edition, or Who Wants to Be the President, or Dancing with the President's Cabinet Members. I know, we already have a reality show called Big Brother, but I thought that would be a little bit too much on the nose. The larger point is, we as in Americans, we want a TV host, not an actual president. And it is damn depressing to me. Because you know what? I actually love this country. And if you love this country, you probably want the best for this country. And the best is not a TV host. Not now, not ever. But let me get back to Charlemagne and his presidential wish list. I've never met Jon Stewart. I think he's fabulous at what he does, and that is political insight and commentary. I think what Stewart's done with the 9/11 Survivors and Victims Fund is nothing less than admirable and remarkable. But under no circumstances does that mean he is either suitable to be leader of the free world or president. We should have more respect for the office of the president. We should. I know that's a funny statement in and of itself, because we don't have any respect for the office of the president. Not even a little bit. Zero respect for the seriousness of the office and or its responsibilities. Not a day goes by without our sitting president getting on social media and starting Twitter fights with actors, singers, television hosts, athletes, and even radio hosts like Charlemagne. We're not serious about anything, least of all who should be leader of the free world. There is something to be said for actually having applicable experience, working as a local elected official, then state, then federal, serving on a congressional committee, or two even, working with classified intelligence and moving up that ladder. When you do, you learn how agencies and departments work and their purpose, their importance. So you understand how the Bureau of Labor Statistics, for example, actually works. And you know that it's not just one person making the stats. So you know that it is a committee of people, and you don't need to just fire one person, particularly a woman, for no good damn reason. That's what happens when you're a TV host. Because being a TV host is not an applicable skill. It's a deficiency and drawback, or at least it used to be. It's actually a reason why you should absolutely not ever be considered for president of the United States. For KFI AM 640, I'm Mo Kelly.
KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County. More stimulating talk.